Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk some Highschool Dxd Hero. Yeah man, this week was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. As we thought from last week, it was going to be a battle-centric episode. We got to see the majority of a battle, or like the beginning of a battle. You know, they were just there to test people out. We got to see some cool little abilities. I think we got to see Annihilation Maker, and got to see some of So-So. But really, like the most incredible thing here, the thing that was the most surprising to me, was the fact that this guy's name is So-So. I mean, like, I've seen that name so many times as I read through the novel, and you know, I was sure that I wasn't pronouncing it right, but I did not expect to be so off such that it's So-So. Overall, it's like cool stuff. I'm happy that now I know what the name is, but yeah, it's one of those funny little things. Anyway, the rest of the episode, it's pretty simple, right? Fight episodes usually tend to be pretty simple, but for this one we got a few more things thrown into it, right? We got some development and acknowledgement for Issei, and we got also the progression of the plot. We got to like where everyone's set up to go and deal with the hero faction, and yeah, we got to see some pretty cool action sequences. Overall, I think like some of the choreography for some of the scenes was pretty freaking cool. I think, let's see, there was the person who was the executor from the church, and he had his 3 swords. I thought he was Siegfried. I thought he was very interesting. He got like a very small little sequence of animation there, but the animation looked pretty cool. So I think on a visual level, you know, DxD still compromises on some shots. Like you have like the very like lazy ones, like Azazel versus So-So, or when they're doing like their little beam spam, and then you have like the really cool ones, or the close combat ones. Of course, it doesn't matter, like you have to make these episodes work. You need to like allocate resources where possible. So overall, I think it's a nice balance of cheap and impressive looking. And really, there's more impressive looking than there are cheap in this one. Now, the main topic I think I'm going to talk about for this one is Issei and just what he did in this episode. But before that, like, you know, other little highlights that I really enjoyed, pretty much Rossweiss when she comes in drunk and just fires magic everywhere. I thought that was amazing. I thought that was hilarious. Saji is being involved in the plot. I'm really excited for that because I like his sacred gear quite a bit. I think it's Vitria. It's like the prison dragon. So I'm pretty I'm pretty excited to see just, you know, him do some stuff. I really like the balance breakers in general. And so, you know, like last thing is like there's a lot of balance breakers going around here. I found it really interesting that by the end, the guy that uses shadows also has a little balance breaker going on. It's pretty cool stuff. You know, the power sets in DxD I think are really interesting, and I think they work well enough. Yes, you know, because it's anime, there's always going to be that kind of exaggeration effect going on, and sometimes things don't make sense. But for DxD, it mostly keeps things consistent, and I really enjoy it. And like, really, you know, as much as I think Issei is a pervert, and like in this episode, you know, we confirm it because Issei got his full potential back, the potential to turn people into molesters. But yeah, Issei using booblingual and then dress break, I think that's a killer combination. I think, like, yeah, look, man, it's one thing to be the pervert, but if your pervertedness gives you those kind of powers, then you might as well use them. I think at that point, it's like where you just accept your nature, and, you know, I have to accept Issei's nature, but I do enjoy whenever he uses it because I think it's a funny ability. Although, like, the next question is, like, you know, when will we get women that are confident in their naked bodies and then they just continue fighting Issei? We kind of had a little bit of that last season, I believe. But it's just one of those funny little things. Akara pointed it out when she was watching this with me, and it was just, yeah, I think self-confident people, I think that's all we really need to put Issei in check, other than, you know, guys. But whatever. Moving on. The main thing for Issei was, you know, So-So acknowledges it too, that Issei is a splendid leader. He is a splendid comrade. By himself, he would probably not be much, but he is able to work with his group very well and use them to his advantage. And then we also have that confirmation from Kiba. I do think it's a bit heavy-handed, but this is like Issei's character arc. I think it's totally fine in the long run. Like, the author wants to drive home, this is where Issei shines. He shines when he has some people to support him. Although, like, a lot of times Issei, I think, ends up going one-on-one solo for most things. But when it comes to these large-scale group battles, I think it works out really well. I think him telling Kiba to make some light-absorbing swords was amazing, and I do think that whole sequence where he led them and told them what to do, I think that was pretty cool too. So when you have that last little bit where Issei has been separated from his group, you know, you could be talking about like, well, is So-So now, you know, trying to make or take advantage of his weakness? And I would say, well, yeah, he should be. But you know, if So-So has enough control, or like, you know, So-So's group has enough control to decide who gets separated, I think leaving Asya and the church trio largely intact was a really bad move on their part. But that might also be an issue of they don't have enough information to act on that. That said, Asya being, if they isolated Asya by herself, this would have just been, they could have easily nixed her very quickly. But at the same time, the hero faction themselves aren't overtly malicious, right? Like, you hear what So-So is saying, like he wants to see how far he can go. That's not a person who's evil, or not necessarily, okay, this is gonna be tough, because he could still say that he is acting in terms of absolute evil. He is still doing things that are like ultimately for evil means, but his intentions here are way more selfish. Like, he is still like classified as a villain given what he is willing to do for it. Like, but he is ultimately one of those characters that just wants the thrill of the battle, and those type of characters don't necessarily need to kill people when it's unnecessary, right? So-So in particular, like he points out, he wants to see how far humans can go. Him killing Asya isn't really something that aligns with that goal. That said, he wants to see how far he can go, and so he would go and kidnap a yokai in order to use some kind of power. You know, that's veering on like, okay, this guy's pretty selfish. He's pretty self-absorbed. Yeah, he's not probably the best person, but this kind of character is more likely to flip or be helpful to Issei in the future if their goals kind of align in some way. So like, you know, if Issei ever has to fight a god, So-So would probably fight with him. But it's just like right now, like the Chaos Brigade themselves, you know, people talk about how like the Chaos Brigade are so non-uniform, they're just all kind of doing things, and it's like, guys, it's called the Chaos Brigade. Obviously they're just going to be doing things. That's chaos in its best form. Of course the organization that wants chaos is chaotic when it comes to their ranks. But yeah, anyway, Highschool Dxd episode this week, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. You guys let me know what you thought down below, and until next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.